Riley Stearns, who's been a prominent indie figure on the South by and Sundance type landscape, who gave us already 2 films that have performed pretty well for smaller indie films. He's latched on to a perhaps bigger sci-fi project. It's called Duel, and it's packaged by the XYZ Films people, who have really, they've got their finger on the pulse in terms of genre films, in terms of experimental, larger public type items, original ideas. So just your random thoughts on Riley Stearns' career so far, who's done Faults and The Art of Defense.
So Riley Stearns is a filmmaker who I think has been pretty underrated. He always finds sort of an interesting genre take on his 2 features, Faults, which was about someone trying to deprogram a cult member, and last year's The Art of Self-Defense, which was sort of this sort of brilliant take apart of toxic masculinity. I think both of those films show a really, really distinct voice. And so what excites me about Duel is that it's a elevated, it's a sci-fi picture, but coming from Riley Stearns, it's going to be something different. And the premise is really cool. It's about a woman with a terminal ill disease who clones herself, but the twist is actually she survives, but her clone is already now out in the world. So huge opportunity to do something really, really fun, really, really inventive with that premise. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've seen him rise on the festival circuit as well.
Yeah, I remember him with Cub at Sundance. I think it was 2014, I want to say. What I do appreciate is that he has memorable characters. They're always cut out. They're branded differently from what we usually see. They speak differently, and there's always memorable scenes, the type of scenes that you want to quote or that you want to rewind to and watch a second or third time. He's got a sort of like noirish humor. Let's talk about, so there was a casting announcement as well. Jesse Eisenberg is part of the fabric of this film, but won't have top billing. There's Martha Kelly, who had a fun little part in Marriage Story. She's the one that came to visit Adam Driver's character when he's got a misfortune. He's got that accident with his finger. And we have Aaron Paul, but the lead character is the fine actress Karen Gillan. What can you say about her? I'm not really familiar with her crossover Marvel and Guardians of the Galaxy role. What's the lowdown on what this can do for her, and what are what kind of tool belt does she,
I don't think it's really what the film can do for her, or what yeah, I think it's more this is just going to be a really cool meeting of a filmmaker who crafts memorable characters, and an actress who'll probably have something really cool to work with. Mary Elizabeth Winstead had a really, really great lead role in Faults. It was just a really well written piece. And Riley Stearns did the same for Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots and The Art of Self-Defense. So I think it's just it's always exciting when you see when you have a filmmaker who can really craft these unique characters. And now that he has Karen Gillan, who you're right, she's been in a lot of blockbusters and tentpole films, Avengers and Jumanji and things like that. When you have her, when you have Aaron Paul as well, I just think it's going to be really, really interesting to see what they're given to play with.
So potentially we can expect a Denis Villeneuve's Enemy, but with a funny bone, perhaps.
That's a good way to put it. Or maybe The Double with more of a sci-fi twist.
Cool. Hi, I'm Eric Lavallée. I'm editor-in-chief and site owner for IONCINEMA.com, and this is
Kevin Jagernauth, contributing writer for the playlist.
And together we are IndieSponge.